has to. The reason being, it's not very often that, as an individual you get to play in a brand new stadium, and for the last like 15 years we had a stadium in the sense, we used to play at Keenan Stadium, but this is the first stadium that belongs to the State Cricket Association, and it's a world-class stadium, so of course, emotions will be high, but at the same time, it was important to be focused. Yes, we didn't let the opposition score a lot of runs, and at the same time, our batsmen, the middle order batsmen, they scored enough runs by the end of it, so I could go in, relax a bit. I was not under any sort of real pressure, so I think overall it was a perfect script. Yes, I would say the emotions were high when I was going into bat, but no real pressure as such.
But take us back to growing up in Ranchi. I mean, yes, walking out here on this brand new stadium, take us back to the time when you walked out playing with that rustic bat and the tennis ball.
Well, I think, right from the very start, before even I started playing proper cricket with the leather ball, I think the standard of cricket was quite good over here. Must be knowing there are lots of head offices that are situated over here. So, the public sectors and even the private sectors, we had decent teams, which meant, people had jobs at offer, and, once you get a job, you play for them. So I think the standard was quite good. We had the local clubs also participating at the same time, so the league structure was good. So I think overall Ranchi always had good cricket, but most of it was played on matting wicket. We had a stadium, Mekon Stadium, that was under Mekon, and that had turf wicket. So that was the only wicket, where turf wicket which was available for matches. And in between we had one more stadium where we tried to put in one more turf wicket, but it didn't last long. So I think overall, this stadium is the best that we have got. Not to forget, now we don't need to at least explain where we come from. It's quite easy now, especially in the cricket playing nations, across the world. It will be easier to identify where Ranchi is. So I think overall, fantastic atmosphere, very good feeling, and at the same time, a good infrastructure for all the cricketers to exploit.
And you have to tell us and tell our viewers, every time you come back to Ranchi, catching up with old friends, old teachers, football coaches, cricket coaches, I mean, how do you manage to divide your time between so many people?
Well, frankly, I don't go out much, but that's only if I come to Ranchi. It's not very often that I get enough time with my parents. That's something my dad always cribs about. He's like, you should spend some time with us, but we have been quite busy, especially the fact that if you get a 2-day break, it's not possible for me to come to Ranchi because you need to have a direct flight, and if the reporting is back in Chennai or some place like a Hyderabad, you have to go to Delhi again and then go to Hyderabad or Chennai, which means 2 days is not really enough. So I've not spent much time with them, and whenever I'm home, for 2 or 3 days, most of the time, I stay at my place. I don't really go out much, spend some time with the family, dogs, and that's what I do. But now with this stadium in, at least I can come over here, relax a bit, go on a walk or a jog, if I want to, with nobody really to trouble me. So yes, it's definitely a venue. It's more than a stadium for me. It can be like a place where I can come and relax, because once you have seen a stadium with 40,000 odd people, you can come and sit on your own, and it will be very relaxing because there will be no noise.
Well, one final question. Now that we've got the lump in your throat, I know you were tempted to take a bike back instead of the team coach, but in the morning when that glider was flying around the stadium, if you had a chance, would you have flown it?
Well, not really, because if it was a fighter plane, maybe, because that was a big glider. I think it was a Cessna or something, and looking at the wingspan, I was a bit worried, maybe by the end of the last sortie that it does, maybe it will be hanging to one of the lights, that's how big it was. But I think it was the experienced pilots who were flying it. Not to forget, we had to do something different. So I think it was a good gesture on their part. They did their best to make it a very memorable game for all of us, all the people from Jharkhand.
Well, even with that emotion, that glider that you were just seeing, he managed to know the exact model, the exact type of plane it was. But this was a special interview, as I said. This was not India's captain. This was not that bludgeoning batsman. This was just a young boy from Ranchi.